Have you ever felt like your emotions were controlling your life? Maybe it's anger that flares up at the wrong moment, or anxiety that keeps you awake at night. These feelings can feel overwhelming, like they're pulling you in every direction. But what if I told you there's a way to take back control? A way to face life's challenges with calm and confidence? The ancient Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca mastered the art of emotional control. They believed that while we can't always change what happens to us, we can change how we respond to it. Their timeless lessons are just as powerful today as they were centuries ago. In this video, we're going to explore 7 Stoic lessons that can help you control your emotions and build unshakable inner peace. These lessons aren't just theories. They're practical tools you can use in your daily life. From handling stressful situations to staying calm when life gets tough, these Stoic strategies will guide you toward a better, more balanced version of yourself. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's dive into the wisdom of Stoicism. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to take charge of your emotions and live a calmer, more fulfilling life. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could use a little Stoic wisdom today. Let's get started. Lesson 1. Focus on what you can control. Let's start with one of the most fundamental Stoic lessons. Focus on what you can control. Think about this. How often do we stress over things completely out of our hands? The weather, someone else's opinion, or even the traffic on our morning commute. We waste so much energy worrying about things we simply can't change. Now imagine this. You're rushing to an important meeting, and suddenly you hit a massive traffic jam. Your heart starts racing, frustration kicks in, and your mind spirals. Why is this happening to me? But pause for a second. Can you control the traffic? No. What you can control is how you respond to it. The Stoics taught us to draw a clear line between what's within our control and what's not. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Here's how it works. Your thoughts, your actions, and your choices are all under your control. Everything else? That's external. And the moment you let go of trying to control those external things, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. Let me give you another example. Imagine you're pitching an idea to your boss. You prepare thoroughly, give it your best, but they reject it. You might feel disappointed, even angry, but remember, their reaction isn't in your control. What's in your control is the effort you put into the presentation. So, how can you apply this in your own life? It's simple. The next time you're faced with a stressful situation, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Redirect your focus to what you can influence, your actions, your attitude, and your mindset. This shift in perspective isn't easy at first, but with practice, it becomes second nature. And when it does, you'll notice how much calmer and more in control you feel, no matter what life throws your way. In the end, focusing on what you can control isn't just a Stoic principle, it's a life principle. It's the foundation for emotional resilience and inner peace. So start today. Let go of the things you can't control and take charge of the things you can. You'll thank yourself later. Lesson 2. Embrace negative visualization. Let's talk about a powerful Stoic practice called negative visualization. Now, this might sound a little strange at first, but stick with me. The idea behind it is simple. We prepare ourselves mentally for the worst-case scenarios in life. Sounds a bit negative, right? But in reality, it's a way to strengthen your emotional resilience and reduce the fear of loss or disappointment. Think about this. Every morning, Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, would take a moment to imagine the worst things that could happen to him that day. He'd picture losing his throne, his loved ones, or even his life. Not because he was being pessimistic, but because he knew that by mentally preparing for these events, he wouldn't be shaken if they happened. In fact, he found that it gave him a sense of calm, knowing he was ready to face whatever came his way. So how does this work in real life? Let's say you're starting a new job or going into an important meeting. Instead of focusing solely on the best possible outcome, take a moment to think about what could go wrong. Maybe the interview doesn't go as planned, or the project doesn't succeed. Visualize these setbacks and imagine how you'd handle them. How would you stay calm? How would you recover? This process doesn't make you anxious or afraid. It gives you the power to face life's uncertainties with confidence. Negative visualization helps you appreciate what you have right now. If you imagine losing something important, like your health, your family, or your career, you start to realize just how valuable these things are in your life. And once you recognize that, you start to feel gratitude for them. You stop taking them for granted and begin to cherish them more. But it's not just about preparing for worst-case scenarios. It's also about lowering your expectations in a healthy way. When you stop expecting perfection and start expecting that things could go wrong, you're not setting yourself up for disappointment. Instead, you're setting yourself up for acceptance no matter what happens. So, here's what I want you to try. Each morning, take a few minutes to imagine the worst possible situation that could happen that day. Picture it vividly. Then think about how you'd handle it. How would you bounce back? This simple practice doesn't make you a pessimist. It makes you more resilient. And over time, you'll find that life's challenges don't feel as overwhelming. You'll start living with less fear of the unknown and more confidence in your ability to deal with whatever comes your way. Lesson 3. Practice the pause. You know that feeling when someone says something that hits you wrong? Maybe they insult you, cut you off in a conversation, or do something that triggers you. Your immediate response is to react, often with anger or frustration. But here's the Stoic secret. Don't react immediately. Pause. Think about it. The next time someone says something rude, instead of jumping to defend yourself or retaliate, just pause. In that moment of silence, you're giving yourself the power to choose how to respond, instead of letting your emotions control you. It's like hitting the brakes in a car before you crash into something. The pause allows you to avoid a crash in your emotions and actions. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, once said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." The simple. When you pause, you're taking a step back. You're allowing your mind to slow down and find a rational response instead of reacting emotionally. It's about taking a deep breath and thinking, what's the best way to handle this? Not the first thing that comes to your mind, but the most thoughtful, composed response. Let's say you're at work, and a colleague insults your idea in front of the entire team. Everyone's looking at you, and your heart starts racing. You feel like you need to defend yourself right now. But here's the key: pause. Just for a few seconds, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what is this situation really about? What's my goal here? The goal isn't to win the argument or prove a point. It's to stay in control and find a way to respond with dignity. This pause doesn't make you weak or passive. It makes you strong. It shows emotional strength because you're not letting external events push you around. Instead, you're in charge of your emotions. And when you practice this, you start realizing that a few seconds of pause can save you from saying things you'll regret or making decisions that you'll later wish you hadn't. So remember, next time someone pushes your buttons, hit pause. Give yourself the time to respond with wisdom and clarity, instead of reacting out of anger or frustration. It's a small practice, but it will completely change how you deal with people and how you handle stressful situations. The more you do it, the more automatic it becomes, and the better you'll get at controlling your emotions. By the end of this, you'll realize that the pause doesn't just control your anger. It makes you a calmer, more thoughtful person. And when you're calm, you're unstoppable. Lesson 4. Accept impermanence. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a river. The water is constantly moving, flowing, never staying the same. That's exactly how life works. Everything around us is always changing, and no matter how hard we try, we can't stop it. Now, I know it's easy to get caught up in the things we want to hold on to, our health, our loved ones, even our successes. But here's the thing, everything is temporary, and that's okay. In fact, accepting the impermanence of life is one of the most powerful lessons we can learn from Stoic philosophy. When the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think," he wasn't trying to scare us. He was reminding us that life is fragile. Everything we have, whether it's a job, a relationship, or even the moments we experience right now, can change in an instant. And that's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Because when we accept that nothing lasts forever, we stop clinging so tightly to things that might not be in our control. Think about it. How much time do we spend worrying about losing something? A job, a relationship, a possession. The more we cling to these things, the more we create unnecessary stress and fear. The truth is, if we know that everything has an end, we start to appreciate what we have while it's here, rather than fearing its loss. And that shift in perspective makes all the difference. Now, this doesn't mean we should be indifferent or stop caring about the things we love. It simply means we should learn to appreciate them for what they are in the moment, knowing that their time is limited. When we start living with this mindset, we let go of unnecessary anxiety and start enjoying life as it unfolds, one moment at a time. So, how can we apply this lesson today? Every time you feel anxiety creeping in, when you're clinging to something, whether it's a relationship, a possession, or an outcome, remind yourself of life's impermanence. Recognize that it's not about holding on forever, but about living fully while we have the chance. Appreciate the fleeting moments, the people around you, and the experiences that make life beautiful, because in the end, the only thing we truly have is the present moment. And when we accept the impermanence of everything, we find peace in knowing that it's all part of the journey. Lesson 5. Reframe challenges as opportunities. Imagine facing a tough situation, maybe a job setback, a project failure, or an unexpected obstacle. It's easy to feel overwhelmed or discouraged, right? But here's the Stoic twist. Instead of seeing these challenges as problems, what if you viewed them as opportunities for growth? The Stoics believed that every difficulty is a chance to improve ourselves. Rather than letting hardships defeat us, we can use them to build inner strength, wisdom, and resilience. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoics, didn't see challenges as misfortunes. He saw them as chances to practice patience, to test his character, and to grow. Let's look at a real-world example. You're at work, and everything seems to be going wrong. Deadlines are missed, things aren't coming together, and stress is building. It's easy to get frustrated, but the Stoic approach would be to pause and ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of blaming circumstances or people, the Stoics focus on what they can control. They use each setback as an opportunity to improve their skills, their approach, and their mindset. This idea applies to relationships too. Say you're dealing with a difficult person, a coworker, or even a friend who tests your patience. The typical response might be anger or frustration. But the Stoic way is to see this challenge as a chance to practice emotional control. Rather than reacting negatively, you can choose to respond with calmness and understanding. And what about failure? We all fail at something, whether it's a missed opportunity, a business venture that didn't pan out, or a personal goal that slipped away. The Stoics didn't see failure as a bad thing. They saw it as a part of the process. Each failure is an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. Thomas Edison famously failed many times before inventing the light bulb. He didn't give up, he learned from each failure. The Stoics would say that each failure is simply a step on the path to success. By reframing challenges as opportunities, you stop seeing obstacles as something to avoid or fear. Instead, you begin to see them as stepping stones to becoming a better version of yourself. Every challenge you face is a chance to practice patience, emotional control, resilience, and wisdom. Next time you face a difficult situation, try pausing and asking, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger from this experience? When you begin to reframe challenges in this way, you'll find that even the toughest moments have value. You'll no longer be defeated by life's obstacles, but empowered by them. Lesson 6. Detach from outcomes. Imagine you've spent weeks working on a big project. You've given it your all, late nights, hard work, and endless focus. You're confident it's going to be a success. But then, when the time comes, the outcome isn't what you expected. Maybe it gets rejected, ignored, or even criticized. It's disappointing, right? But here's where Stoicism can really change the game. The Stoics teach us a powerful lesson. Detach from outcomes. Focus on the effort you put in, not the results. This doesn't mean you shouldn't care about success or strive for your goals. It simply means you don't let the outcome determine your peace of mind. The effort is in your control, the result is not. Think of it like this: you can't control the weather, but you can control how you prepare for it. Just like you can't always control whether a project is a success or failure, but you can control how much heart and energy you put into it. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "A good character is not shaped by the desire for success, but by the courage to act, regardless of the outcome." What he means is that true fulfillment comes from the process, from doing your best, not from external validation. If you focus too much on the result, it can create frustration and disappointment, especially when things don't go as planned. So what can you do about it? Whenever you're working towards something, pour your effort into it fully, without getting attached to whether it will work out or not. Ask yourself, am I doing my best? Am I learning and growing from this? If you can honestly say yes, then the outcome, whether good or bad, becomes secondary. For example, let's say you launch a business, and things don't go the way you expected. Instead of spiraling into disappointment, focus on what you learned through the experience. Maybe you've learned valuable lessons about customer needs or how to market better. That knowledge is something you can apply next time. The truth is, no matter how hard we try, we can't control everything. And that's okay. When you detach from outcomes, you free yourself from the weight of expectations. You no longer tie your self-worth to what happens after the fact. You can simply keep moving forward, doing your best, and trusting that the right outcomes will come in time. So, next time you're feeling the pressure of results, remind yourself, it's the effort that counts, not the outcome. Let that mindset guide you, and you'll find that your emotional stability improves drastically. Lesson 7. Cultivate gratitude. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really took a moment to appreciate what you have? It's easy to get caught up in wanting more. More success, more money, more recognition. But the Stoics remind us of something incredibly important. Gratitude is a powerful tool that can transform our emotional state. Think about it. Every day we wake up, and often, we focus on what's wrong or what's missing in our lives. We're frustrated by what we haven't achieved yet or what we don't have. But the Stoics tell us that when we shift our focus to what we already have, everything changes. It's not about ignoring challenges or pretending that everything's perfect. It's about acknowledging the good things we have right here and now. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, was born a slave, living in difficult circumstances. Yet, he found joy in the smallest things, like the ability to think freely or the opportunity to learn. He didn't focus on what he didn't have. Instead, he practiced gratitude every single day for the things he did have. He said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not but rejoices for those which he has." Gratitude has the power to change the way we feel. It helps us put our emotions in perspective. For example, if you're upset about something, pause for a moment. Think about the things that are going well. Think about your health, your family, your home, or even something simple like a good cup of coffee. That shift in focus can bring a sense of peace, a calmness in the middle of chaos. It can remind you that life isn't all about what's missing. It's about appreciating what's already here. The great thing about gratitude is that it's a practice. You don't have to wait for a big life event to feel thankful. You can start right now. Each day, take a few minutes to reflect on 3 things you're grateful for. Could be something big, like your family, or something small, like a warm bed at the end of the day. The point is to recognize the positive in your life. This simple habit of gratitude can build emotional resilience. It makes us less reactive to negative events because we start to see the bigger picture. We stop focusing on the things we can't control, and we begin to cherish the things we can. Gratitude doesn't solve all of life's problems, but it makes it a lot easier to navigate through them. So, starting today, try this. Each evening before bed, take a moment to write down 3 things you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be anything extraordinary. Maybe it's a good conversation, a beautiful sunset, or even the fact that you woke up today. Over time, you'll notice how much more balanced and calm you feel. You'll begin to control your emotions, not by forcing them down, but by actively focusing on what's good in your life. Remember, The Stoics teach us that peace of mind doesn't come from getting everything we want. It comes from learning to appreciate what we already have. So practice gratitude daily and watch how it transforms your emotions and your life. Alright, let's quickly wrap up what we've learned today. We've explored 7 Stoic lessons that can help you take control of your emotions and find peace in a chaotic world. By focusing on what you can control, practicing negative visualization, and giving yourself the pause to think before reacting, you're already on your way to mastering your emotions. Embracing life's impermanence and reframing challenges as opportunities will help you grow stronger, while detaching from outcomes keeps you focused on what really matters. And finally, practicing gratitude can change the way you view the world, bringing more calm and contentment into your life. These lessons aren't just philosophy, they're practical tools that you can use every day. The Stoics believed in action, not just theory. So take what you've learned here, apply it, and see the change for yourself. Remember, controlling your emotions doesn't mean shutting them down. It means mastering them, responding with wisdom instead of reaction. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more wisdom, and share it with anyone you think would benefit from these Stoic teachings. And let us know in the comments, which of these 7 lessons is the hardest for you to apply? We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and remember, control your emotions, and you control your life.